It is finally time to start up our Madden 19 franchise here with the Miami Dolphins. For those of you who are not aware that there is a twist to this year's Madden franchise that I'm doing on my channel, well, there is indeed a twist, and that twist is that I am the Dolphins, and that Burns 2211 or Burns is the Buffalo Bills. So essentially how this series is going to work is it's pretty much going to be the same as any other Madden series on my channel, with maybe a few other cool things thrown in for like off seasons and just a few other things they show in certain videos. But for the most part, it's just going to be the same old Madden franchise that you all come to my channel to watch. It's just the twist is that one of the teams in my division is a user, or fellow YouTuber in this case, who is also going to be posting his perspective on his channel as his Madden 19 franchise series. So essentially, we're going to be posting the videos on the same day. Today is going to be this intro video going over the roster, everything that happened with signing and cutting guys in the preseason, and then leaving it off heading into week 1 of the regular season. And then tomorrow will be week 1 of the regular season. That will be going up. We're both going to be posting each game on the same day, so it's not going to be like me posting week 3 and then Burns, for whatever reason, is posting like week 7 or vice versa. We're both going to be, if week 2 goes up for me on a certain day, it's going to be week 2 going up for Burns as well on that same day. So one of us isn't going to be way ahead of the other. And because of that, we have schedules, we have lives, we can't commit every hour of every day to playing and editing this franchise. So because of that, this isn't going to be a daily series, obviously. Now, obviously, there probably are going to be a decent amount of, like, stretches where we post for, like, 2, 3, maybe even 4 days in a row, maybe even a week in a row, but there will probably be other days where we don't post for 1 or 2 days in between an episode, and for my channel, in between those days will be when the Royals franchise and other videos are posted up onto this channel. So the Royals franchise will continue for those of you who are MLB franchise fans on this channel. And the reason why it took us so long to actually start this, well, there's actually 2 reasons. One is because we were waiting for the OSFX draft class to come out. That is just the draft class with the real prospects, because you can download custom draft classes this year in this year's Madden. And it's made by the same group of people that make the OSFM rosters that I always wait for my MLB The Show franchises. If you're interested in downloading that, it is under the PSN download share store on Madden, or share files, or whatever it's called, under the PSN ID Ryden Down Kingsley. It is on the screen right now. Down is DWN. You'll see it across your screen. They have said that there's going to be an Xbox One roster out within a week or so as well, so if you guys are on Xbox One, you'll have a chance to download these as well. And as far as what slider set we're going to be rocking for this series, we're starting off with a all-pro slider set. Now, this is Madden, and I'm sure we're going to have to use about 47 different slider sets throughout the course of playing this game all year long. But as it stands right now, we are using a fun but still challenging all-pro slider set that I've tweaked around with and I've been using on my stream over on Twitch, that I've been using to play in my Chargers Fantasy Draft franchise. If enough people ask in the comments and you guys seem to be interested in wanting a video, I might show a video showing you guys those sliders that we're using. So if you guys are interested in a slider video, just comment down below and I will be sure to get that up within the next few days. But now moving on to actual things that happened in this franchise so far, where we did not play the preseason, we just simmed through the preseason, but we went through week by week and made our cuts and everything, so we didn't have guys getting cut who we didn't want to get cut, and all that stuff. So basically, looking at my roster initially, I noticed that probably our biggest hole is at right guard. We had a sub-70 overall. Starting at right guard, not what you want to see. Now, there wasn't too many great free agents out there at the guard position, but I did go out and sign veteran longtime guard for the Saints. He was on Green Bay last season. That's Javry Evans out of Bloomsburg. So Javry Evans is now going to be our right guard. I believe he's 35 years old. I think it's better than having a sub-70 overall starting at the right guard position. Obviously, we could have went with that guy and got up a bunch of XP and maybe leveled them up, but I decided to go with the veteran option instead, at least to start the season. We also went out and signed, for those of you who are fans of our Chargers franchise over on Twitch and have seen those videos or hang out in the streams, you should be familiar with Younghoe Koo, the second-year pro kicker out of Georgia Southern. He's my kicker in that. I decided to sign him in this because he was just hanging out in free agency to start the franchise, and we don't really have a decided kicker with Miami, so I decided to sign him as the second kicker on the roster, and later on this episode we'll see who I decide is going to be our kicker heading into the regular season. Another free agent signing we made was Jeremy Langford. Now, I went and signed him mainly because he was signed in real life by the actual Dolphins, and Madden's most recent roster update doesn't have him on the roster yet, so I decided to mimic real life and actually put him on the roster because I was hoping he would be on the roster anyways, making Jeremy's look good. He's got a quick dev, he's got a low overall. He can't hurt to have another guy on the roster. We already have Kalen Ballage behind Kenyon Drake, and obviously Frank Gore as well, but Gore is very old and very slow, so it can't hurt to have another back on the roster as well. So we're rolling with going to be 4 running backs. When it came time to cut certain players, we had to decide at the quarterback position if we wanted to roll with 2 or 3 QBs. Usually I roll with 2, but in this situation we had David Fales and Bryce Petty on the roster backing up behind Tannehill and Brock Osweiler, and I thought Bryce Petty was the better of those 2 QBs, but I opted to decide to roll with just 2 QBs, and David Fales and Bryce Petty were both cut. Obviously, let's just say one of Tannehill or Osweiler gets hurt, then Petty can always be brought back onto the team to be our backup or whatever it may be. We are also going to be rolling with 7 wide receivers on the roster this season, mainly because one of them is strictly a return specialist in Jakeem Grant. That guy is like 3 feet tall. He is not going to be running routes for me. Obviously, he could possibly run some slot receiver, but we have Danny Amendola for that, and Jakeem Grant is pretty much strictly a return specialist for this Dolphins team. I also did not want to cut Leonte Carew, who is from Rutgers, for obvious reasons, and then also did not want to cut Isaiah Ford, because he's one of those guys who has good ratings, and he could be a solid receiver for us down the line. He just needs to improve slightly in a few ratings, and he could be a pretty legit receiver. Another decision we had to make was the backup strong safety spot. Now, the big nickel formation is a thing this year. Basically what it does is it puts 3 safeties out there. It's essentially the 4-2-5 defense. So you've got 4 D linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 DBs. So it'll have 2 of your safeties up top, and then one of them is down low, essentially in the box, or just outside the box. And that safety they choose to put in there is the backup strong safety. So this is a pretty important position on your team to have. I was deciding between Jordan Lucas and Trey Elston. Jordan Lucas, he's slightly faster, a little bit older. He's the better tackler as well, but he's worse in coverage. Trey Elston, better in coverage. He's also younger. We decided to roll with Trey Elston at the backup strong safety position and cut Jordan Lucas. We also decided to keep Younghoe Koo as our regular season kicker. Jason Sanders, the rookie out of New Mexico, has been sent to the practice squad, so let's just say for some freak reason Younghoe Koo gets injured or he just sucks for us for whatever reason, we can always just move Younghoe Koo to the practice squad or cut him if he's not available to go there, and then have Jason Sanders on our team as the kicker. And as the roster scrolls by your screen right now at a probably speedy pace, you guys can obviously pause it if you want to look at a certain position if it rolls by too fast for your liking. One thing that you guys are probably going to notice is that we have no fullback and we have 4 tight ends, and that's because the Dolphins, in their formations they have and their offense they run a multiple zone run offense under Adam Gase's playbook, and there's a lot of like 3 tight end formations, 2 tight end formations, so we need a lot of tight ends in the roster. And then with the no fullback on the roster and also some I form and weak formations, we do have the ability to use a fullback as well. So essentially we're using Jazicki and Derby to be the number 1, 2 tight ends, Gavin Escobar the number 3, and then Durham Smythe, the other rookie aside from Jazicki, who is out of Notre Dame, is going to be our 4th tight end, but he's also going to be our number 1 fullback because he has the best run blocking out of all of those tight ends. And I should mention here that me and Burns are both playing as coaches in this. As you can probably see behind the screen, there's the coach sitting at his desk. For us, we do not have Adam Gase. For no other reason other than we just want to do custom coaches for this series. It's not because Gase should get fired or whatever opinion people have. So for us, the coach of the Miami Dolphins is Linguini Scalapini, and then the coach of the Buffalo Bills is Sam Burns, the same guy that Burns always creates for everything. And while I was taking a second look at the roster before the regular season started up, I noticed that our third middle linebacker was not quite up to par, what I would have liked to have at that position. And I decided to go out and look at the end of preseason to see maybe who got cut, who's on practice squads, to see if we can have a guy who can replace him. And we went out and found Josie Jewell, the rookie middle linebacker out of Iowa. Big-time tackler over there in the Big Ten last year, in the last few years. So we decided to sign him off of Detroit's practice squad, and we sent Quentin Bowling, our bad rookie middle linebacker, to our practice squad. And before we wrap this video up, I do want to show you guys our specialty positions this year, because if you're not aware, there are specialty positions in Madden this year. Basically, certain positions work different ways. There's added positions on the depth chart, and how the wide receiver position works is they're outside receivers, so your 1 and 2 receivers are going to be your outside receivers, and then the one who's listed at 3 and 4 on your actual receiver depth chart are going to be your backup outside receivers, and then there's a separate slot receiver, and then all that type of stuff. There's a nickel corner slot. And for us, our outside receivers are Kenny Stills and Devontae Parker, being backed up by Leonte Carew and Isaiah Ford, while our slot receiver is Danny Amendola, being backed up by Albert Wilson, the Georgia State legend, and Jakeem Grant. Our third down running back is Kenyon Drake. He's also our starting running back. Our power back is Frank Gore, so he's going to be in on like 3 tight end sets, I-form, stuff like that. Kalen Ballage and then Jeremy Langford are behind him. On the defensive side of things, our rush left end, so whoever comes in nickel and dime sets to rush the quarterback, obviously. Rush left end is Cameron Wake. Rush right end is Robert Quinn. The rush DTs, William Hayes is a DN who I decided to have as a rush DT in this situation. You may know him as the guy who doesn't believe the dinosaurs are real from the Rams Hard Knocks series a couple of years ago. And then Vincent Taylor is the second rush defensive tackle, because we do play a 4-3. He is a second-year player out of Oklahoma State. As far as our sub-linebackers, these are the linebackers that play in the nickel and dime situations. So when you're in nickel, the first 2 guys are the linebackers who are out there. When you're in dime, the top linebacker in this slot is who is out there. For us, it is Stephon Anthony and Raekwon McMillan, being backed up by Jerome Baker, 2 Ohio State guys on that list. Our nickel cornerback is Bobby McCain, who is technically our highest overall corner, but he's a slot corner, so that's where he's playing for us. And then our outside cornerbacks are Xavier Howard and Cordrea Tankersley. And with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here for this introduction to the Dolphins franchise, the dual franchise. I am the Dolphins. Burns is the Bills. If you guys are interested in watching his perspective, I highly recommend you do so. His link will be down in the description below, as well as in the outro of every video. There will be a clickable screen that you can go to where you can either click on my previous video or you can click on his video for that week. So like I said, tomorrow you guys will be seeing week 1 of the regular season against the Tennessee Titans at home in Miami. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying goodbye.